Here's a question. So I think I've been processing through here lately. Epic levels of existential boredom. I hesitate to start this monologue, which I guess these videos are. They're monologues of thought in motion, though, you know? And always trying to, see those thoughts from unlimited perspectives. So the hindrance with unlimited perspectives or trying to see unlimited perspectives on things, there's always a limit. There's always a limit to how much attention you can give to an additional perspective, you know, before you have to move on with life or make a decision. Or, you know, that's not true for, I mean, it's true for everything in a sense eventually. Whatever you believe about anything, eventually those beliefs are tested, if you will. Those belief structures, those paradigms that we construct to assess the world or some aspect of the world, you know, to make sense of it, to be able to make sense of structures, governments, systems, cultures, but also our own choices, understanding our own neurology, our nervous system, how energy gets stuck in the gut, myofascial tissue, and many other places too, how the quantum overlaps with the Newtonian, how the thoughts affect reality and affect our physiology, that we're sick in some form of our thought process long before we're physically ill, you know? And wading through all the stuff in the culture and all the deprogramming and understanding all the false flags through history, pretty much almost every single war, to create systems of domination and control, and of war and fear and soul trauma that carries over from lifetime to lifetime. And the beauty and the wonder that it is to open up those doors of remembrance in your own neurology, within your own little self, your ego, the singular to this incarnation. You know, who I am as Aaron Kesseler is singular to this incarnation. Who I am, well, that's much more than Aaron Kesseler, you know? I think that's true for all of us. We're the higher versions of ourselves, our soul, which I believe comes through the heart and the heartbeat, and that being the cloud collective of all of our other incarnations, past, present, and future, simultaneously existing within what we understand to be time. And you start to experience those other lives in meditation, dreams. For me, a lot of times it's when I'm in motion, when I'm learning a new skill set or a new set of information or new perspectives, or just the beauty in exploring all of that. And while doing those things, it's like the muscle memory returns. You know, certain sports or concepts, thought processes get easier as I move into them, as I step out and activate my epigenetic expression by exposing my little self, my singular incarnation Aaron, to new circumstances and new thought processes that his neurology has never thought of before. And when they come into resonance with thought processes I've already processed through in other lifetimes, it feels like the actual nervous system pathways and the neural pathways and things, not just in your brain, but in your body, in your gut. 80 to potentially 100% serotonin is made from your gut, the neurons surrounding your gut that send signals to the brain. And then you've got another 100 million or so around your heart, and your heart thinks 6 to 11 seconds ahead of your brain, your mind, your conscious awareness, which is proven through the Heart Math Institute studies, which are beautiful studies. If you've never looked them up, there's a wonderful, wonderful docudrama on Amazon called The Power of the Heart. It's on Vimeo and some other places, I think, too. But man, I've seen it 6 times. It's wonderful. It's really wonderful. when you realize how long you've been here, how long you've been doing this, how many incarnations, for whatever your purpose is, depending on who you are. I feel like if you're watching this and this is resonating with you, then you're somewhat in a similar sphere of, at least of having had these experiences. Because I understand where I'm at. My perspective is a season in life, you know? Even a season just in consciousness and thought processes I'm working through into my little self, higher level realities about myself, other incarnations, and then higher soul levels in that, even choosing to come into, in the way that I perceive the timeline, the construct that we're in, this 54 million timeline history with Earth. And when we came here to help her, to displace, ultimately, it's not like we're rescuing Earth. It's like she gave us an opportunity to co-create with her. And there's some extent rescuing Earth, but on one hand, she doesn't need our help, you know, like in the ways that we think we do. I'm not saying don't help the environment and do positive things. Like, definitely, those are beautiful things. But on like an esoteric level, I think sometimes it seems to me certain light worker people think, you know, that we have some duty to save the Earth, like she's a damsel in distress, you know. And I'm not saying the heart of that is wrong. I think it's just it's an insufficient metaphor to really express our purpose here on the Earth and working with the Earth. To me, it's an honor to work with the Earth, that I may be a form of eternal spirit, eternal being that has millions of incarnations just on Earth, let alone what other species, you know, and things outside of this construct that we're in. And I'm here to work with the Earth. I'm in her body. That soul or that spirit's in her body. These bodies are made of her atoms. They're resonant, and her heart and her organs are resonant with her Schumann resonance and the variable frequencies within that range. You know, so when we honor our bodies, we're honoring the Earth, especially when we connect it that way in our consciousness. I mean, that's what makes it beautiful, when you connect an awareness in your little self, in the left brain. You can put into words and concepts that make sense, you know? It's a beautiful thing. Like, it's a major breakthrough every time we're able to do that. Sorry, I got a little something in my... To be able to take... Everything is metaphor, too. And beautiful. It's what Jesus did, Buddha, Krishna, Lao Tzu. You take the metaphors that are relevant to the time to explain energy, which is amorphous. Like, how do you explain love? Metaphor. You know? How do you explain healing energy? White light, dark light. Metaphor. Metaphor. It's beautiful. That's why we're all poets. How we choose to use the English language to express anything we feel, anything, you know. Gosh, one of the best pieces of advice that I could give myself or anyone, go read a dictionary, you know, from time to time, or at the very least, try to read things that introduce new words to you, books or things or novels that are higher levels of writing, you know, college level and above, that are more poetic, they're more expressive. And every time you come across a word you don't know, or you're not sure what you know, I mean, for me, the way I do that is I try to understand the word by the context, you know, just within the book or whatever I'm reading. The way that word was used in the context of the several sentences around it, and that one sentence alone, you know, are they using it positively or negatively or derogatorily? Like, you can tell a lot of things just from the context. And then actually looking up the word itself and seeing all the nuances on that word. Makes a huge difference. You know, a lot of times the nuances, sometimes where I go, ooh, like, that's a better word for how I feel about this thing. And then try to incorporate it in my language and speech, and just because I like it. Like, it feels better because it's more in resonance with how I'm feeling. That word is articulates more resonantly with what's going on inside. Or what's I'm observing outside. Finding words. It's one of the few things that makes life worth living for me. Finding new words to express concepts, ideas, feelings, energy. We're all energy at the like core level. I mean, come on, man. We're all vibrating atoms. Our fingers don't even touch when we do it. It's just electrical impulse that we feel. If we zoom way in, there's no atoms touching, you know. It's like when we cross that barrier in our consciousness, that spirit is also science. It's just outside the electromagnetic spectrum. I mean, it's just outside the, well, there are some dynamics that are outside the whole EM spectrum, but most of ghosts and all that kind of stuff is just farther up or down the scale, you know. It's just science. It's not a big deal. It's just where our culture has intentionally been bred to make us think that's all fairy tales and not real, or there's a lot of people, there's a significant like generation of people, or like mindset of people who it is real, but if you use science to explain it, that's a heresy, you know? Like, it takes the wonder out of it for them. For me, understanding the science makes it more wonderful, full of wonder. That's personal preference, I guess. In the process of healing our little selves from the traumas, you know, the emotional addictions, whether they're relational, keep going back to bad relationships, food, emotional food addictions, I got plenty of those. Just your processes, you know, the way we react to things, and like, you know, we get to a place you're healing yourself physically, emotionally, spiritually, in your psyche, in your consciousness, in your body. That's a big part of it. Craniosacral therapy, float tanks, sound deprivation tanks, float tanks, solid salt, water tanks, all sorts of things. Still point devices you can get to help your craniosacral fluid continue to move and be in balance and readjust the cranial plates. There's so many things. Fasting, intermittent fasting, womb therapy. All these ways help heal our soul too. Or in another way to think of it, they clear space, they provide space, hold space. When we cleanse our cells and our body for heavy metals and toxins and parasites and all the stuff we're just overloaded with. I mean, less than 1% of the cells in your body have your DNA. Isn't that crazy? And all the bacteria and gut microbiome and just cells on your body, you know, in your veins and your hands and your arms and your hair and your systems and your organs and just like everything, right? 1% actually has your own DNA unique to you. Crazy. It's crazy. Like, really, it's like, just to think about, wow, you know, what an incredible ecosystem that's within ourselves, and the importance of finding harmony, symbiosis within every one of those 100 trillion cells, however many they think there are now. Changes. Find harmonic resonance within yourself. Forgiveness, peace, healing, joy, finding joy. It's so important. It is. Finding joy, whatever you got to do to find joy, it makes life worth living. At least for that day. Sometimes that's what you need, you know? You just need to find a reason for that day. Even the concepts of hope, love, faith, forgiveness, joy, ceremony, just in your own life, ritual, in your own life, daily routines, you know, they're beautiful. They connect your heart to the environment, to spirit, whatever that means to you. To things that I know exist beyond the physical experience. You know, I lost my fear of death within the Christian construct. You know, I just had enough experiences, spiritual experiences, beyond what is explainable tangibly, but also is incredibly explainable tangibly, for understanding just the science of telepathy, telekinesis, of awareness, of consciousness. I mean, the studies are out there. It's all on the internet. It's all there, the actual studies, like real videos of the studies and the results, and the people who are in them describing the results, and You know, how your consciousness affects reality, affects random number generators, even in Faraday cages, and like they've done all these things to try to prove not, you know, that no, consciousness does not affect reality. It does on really overt levels. It's just, I think society doesn't know how to comprehend that, so it has to, oh, they're just interpreting quantum science wrong, they're abusing the science, they're taking it too far. It's like, dude, no, catch up, bro. Stop being so slow. No, that can't be what it means. Ugh. You know, fuck. Mm. I mean, the most beautiful experiences of my life are interdimensional, if you want to call them that. And they've been sober. They've just been moments of beauty and bliss and meditation, mean closing my eyes and engaging my imagination with what I'm feeling, finding a metaphor in my imaging in my mind for the energy I'm feeling, experiencing, tuning into, wanting to understand what the environment around my home and my room looks like etherically, or wherever I'm going, like tuning into those frequencies. It's like a radio. The more you just close your eyes, still yourself, and always doing this regularly to go into yourself, but additional ways to externally perceive an environment is to go still, eyes open or eyes closed. It's really about the stillness of being able to tune in your etherical radio, your etherical antennas, if you will, which are just parts of our normal anatomy, our normal DNA, just outside the visual spectrum. Tuning it to your environment and perceiving what you feel. And the more you do it, the more you're like, oh, I remember it felt like this. Other place I felt like this. And I remember then it turned out to be something really positive, or something that was off. And then you have more experience like that. You start to put the pieces together and you look back over your past and you see it just starts to make sense. Just actually doing these things. As you do them, the understandings come, the inner standings inside of you. You know, the more expand your understanding outward, whatever boot you're under, even your own sympathetic and parasympathetic programs that keep you in places of homeostasis. They don't want you growing in a lot of ways. They've made it comfortable. They fucking survived in the world, man. Why are you trying to mess that up? We figured it out. We figured out how to survive and to get by okay and be kind of happy and like do this world, which sucks, you know, money and pay and bills and obligations and debt and like, oh, the whole system that is meant to bind creation, expression, to keep people so busy in stupid jobs because they have to. They can't follow their heart's passion. They don't even know what it is because they've been groomed from a child to do schools and then go get a degree so you can get a good job, so you can work to pay your bills and raise a family, and then maybe enjoy it somewhere along the way. Find ways to enjoy it along the way. But yeah, the majority of life kind of sucks. The obligations, you know, it is what it is. It's changing, but still is what it is for now. And so each one of us carve our own way in this world, find our creative outlet, and ideally make money from that in this culture we're in, or trade services, and you can live that way. Depends on how you want to live. So all that's like at a 3D level. At higher levels, I'm tired of it. My soul is tired. Not my little self saying, this is too hard. I want to go home. I don't want to be on Earth anymore. Like, I've done that. I've definitely done that. I'm not making fun of it. But there's a level of it's like, you know, okay, little one, you got to grow into it. We're not going anywhere. You know, these are the traumas we've experienced in life and birthing and childhood and whatever. And yeah, it sucks. The more you realize it, the more it's hard. But the more you heal, you know, I know all those lessons. They're true. They're true, right? So I'm not mocking the little self that wants to go home, that doesn't want to be here anymore on the earth, you know? In a body, it's just done with this system, you know? Put me in a body 50 years from now, cool. The world's going to be much more beautiful. Way less trauma. The hospital systems are completely changed. People have no idea. Women should be having orgasmic births. They're naturally inclined to do that. We lost the traditions and the practices and the mindset. We expect pain in childbirth, so it is. Really. And it's not just that. The way they set you up on beds, it's like significantly harder to be on a bed, laying flat on bed to give birth. Like, why'd they ever come up with that idea? And now with some, I guess, some places that allow you to kind of crouch, there's these contraptions you get in your chair at an angle so you can crouch down. You know, it's like, why does it need to be in contraptions? In a hospital. People would do this in nature, at home, with around trees. They'd be hanging from their husband's neck, their partner, whatever, you know. And it was this beautiful process with the family. You know, create a culture where men just like, it's okay to just stand outside and wait. And then men, it's like funny to think like, oh, that's gross, I don't want to see that. Are you kidding me? It's your child being born, bro. Like, what do you mean you don't want to see it? Because it's weird or messy to you, or like makes you think of your wife sexually differently? Like, man, we got to grow up with that stuff, you know? That's where the culture's at in a lot of ways. Is what it is. So you can only do you, boo-boo. Change your mindset. Find healing for you. You know? Someday when I have a kid, in that whole process leading up to it, oh, I'll be a part of every moment of it, you know, with her. The whole time in the womb, talking to the baby, singing to the baby, psychically connecting to the baby, dreaming with your baby. Oof. Building beauty and joy in life and speaking beauty through your words, the resonance of your words and vocal cords into that baby's DNA and epigenetic expression when its brain is in massive neuroplasticity mode. Beautiful. See, understanding the science makes the love more beautiful to me. So it's a beautiful thing. And all of that, I think, just my soul's tired. It's tired of being here. I'm not like, I still haven't found the right word. Not depressed. Not just exhausted. I mean, the best metaphor or words I can find at this point for the feeling is soul sickness. I'm soul sick from doing incarnations for so long. And it's not like, oh, my little self just needs some positive experiences connecting with spirit and that'll fix it all. Like, it's way deeper than that. It's way deeper than that. It's beyond my little self's ego, being tired with life or being just in too much pain. Like, I'm okay. I'm healed enough that I'm okay. I'm balanced. Neurologically, in a lot of ways, I'm still dealing with stuff as it comes up, and like, I've healed a lot of shit, you know? I learned how to handle conflict, resolve conflict in myself first, and with other people, and love and forgiveness in really profound ways, and joy, and, you know, and still growing into that. But I've found enough to see how life can be beautiful, and how I can live life like a child. You know? Oh, even to see my face and the energy change, you know, as I'm saying that, I can see it. Just the simple beauty in it. And it is beautiful. There's also a level where my soul is bored with all of it. It's done this all before, and yeah, it's different now. It's absolutely different. It's never the same. No incarnation's ever the same. Can't be. You know, so it is different. Because little Aaron is experiencing all this for the first time, and it's been so beautiful for him. This journey of awakening over like 4 years, it's been worth it. It's been worth it. Like, that was, my whole incarnation was for that. For me, for my own personal internal experience. Not the ways I've helped others or loved others or affected others' lives. But if for me, if like I'm thinking, what is the reason I incarnated here, that I would feel satisfied in my soul for having come? You know, and I've experienced it. And not just the last 4 years, but that's a big part of it. Awakening to everything else, to who I am, who I've always been. And then having to process that all while still in this body. And me awakening, what I mean is my little self awakening. You know, entheogenic experiences too. Helping me to process these things from more perspectives and more experiences of being in those in-between places, in-between realms or dimensions in our physiology for a time and a season as we co-create with the plants and the entheogens for whatever our intentions are. You know, it can be just like a CD on a wall. You know, doing mushrooms or something for fun and having a good time. There's nothing wrong with that. But it's like finding a CD, you know, compact disc 100 years from now, and it's beautiful and shiny, iridescent on one side, and so you hang it on your wall. It's cool, man. It's pretty, right? And then somebody comes over and says, hey, I have a CD player. Let's try it. I bet you it works. And it tries, and there's music on it. It's beautiful. Like, wow, like you're crying. It's so much more than I thought. I had no idea. I already loved it. It already did beautiful things for my heart because it was beautiful on the wall. And then somebody later comes along and says, hey, I have this old computer with a disc. I bet there's stuff on it. And you find there's data and pictures and images and video. Like, you know, just weep because of the additional beauty that blesses your life and your heart. So entheogens are like that. I mean, anything in life I feel like is like that. The more intention you put in, the more you connect, the more you get out of it. But entheogens too. You know, what are you wanting to see when you go in between worlds? What are you wanting to see when you change your neurological chemistry, which changes the antenna receptors to tune into more things etherically and visual overlays? You know, what do you want? Do you want to have a good time? That's okay. Like, we need that too. We need to have an interdimensional good time in these bodies. Our soul needs that. Our spirit, you know. Just laugh and have fun. Have a joyful, cool time. Beautiful. Watch beautiful things. Let your heart go to beautiful, wonder-inducing places, you know. Oh, it's important. And then there's the deeper, putting the audio CD, putting the CD in audio, the going in to deal with your own inner work. You know, and that's the data too. I mean, you can take this on a spectrum and a metaphor, but like when you use them to know yourself in this life, to help heal traumas, to help heal pain, you know, to work with the entheogens, to help bring healing to your soul and your body and your little self and the traumas and the neurology. It's important too, you know. And I want to say the feeling I'm feeling for this existential crisis. Existential boredom is that what I started with? Because that's the word I was thinking of. But it's not boredom. Boredom, to me, has connotations of snobbery, kind of. Like, I'm so bored. Like the Kardashians or some shit. I'm so bored. Like, you know, like, dude, first world problems, right? This is different. It's deeper. When I remember who I am and how long I've been here, there's a level of like soul sickness. I'm so everything I could do in this life I've done before in other lives, and I'm starting to remember, and not just remember in my mind. When I remember it, like, it creates neural pathways in my gut and my heart, and I feel it's like re-experiencing some of those beautiful things and embodying them and integrating them in beautiful ways, and experiencing traumas too from past lives and things, embodying them, giving them a voice, honoring them by letting them feel and be felt in your body. They're parts of you that have been isolated in different ways for whatever reason. Like, all that's really beautiful. So it comes down to percentages to live. I don't want to die. I want to live. I'm going to live. You know? But to live with passion, you know, to live with joy in your heart every day. Like, how do you do that? When you keep expanding, saturate that expanding, how beautiful and wonderful it is. And then you're bored. You know, scarily bored. And then you expand again on some new subject or understanding or concept, and then you kind of saturate that. And again, and eventually, and you do have different spheres. Eventually, they're all overlapping enough. You're like, what else is there to life? I understand all these concepts in psychology and neurology and my own self, and I love my own self. I do. You know, and I love others. I do. But it's like, is this it? Another lifetime of just loving people? Think about that. Think about how weird that is to say that. That's like, is that it? Another lifetime of just loving people? Is that it? That's supposed to be my passion, to get out of bed in the morning? Yeah. Another day in another lifetime of just loving people. Yay. Some days it is. But it's like I've come to a deeper level of realizing who I am and how long I've been doing this. And that reason becomes less of a reason. You start thinking bigger than that. It's like, wait, I've done this literally millions of other lifetimes before. I've spent my life healing and helping people. That's who I am as a being. Now, I've done the dark stuff too. I mean, you don't have that many lifetimes and don't get to play all sides. Like, you're forced in some level, whether you want to or not. And then other times we experience all sides, so we can experience it, so we can know, so we can truly have no judgment. Not that there's no consequences for actions, but we can understand. Because we've been that way, you know? We've been the murderer. We've been the pedophile. Like, really, if you think about it. And if you haven't, you think, nope, that's not my past life. Well, what if that happened in one of yours? You were put in a situation where you were raped and traumatized as a kid, because that's every pedophile. And you do the same thing. Think about how awful that is. Horrific for you, the cultural shame. It's not that it's wrong to say that is wrong. It is wrong. But to know that when a pedophile goes to jail, he's probably going to get raped and beaten to death. Dude, is he not in jail to pay for his sins? And now the people in jail have to have somebody to beat on to make them feel good about themselves. At least not as bad as this guy. you know, and they're already in rough places because their own traumas. Why else would they be there? They're not just evil people. People, they're, yeah, okay, maybe there's some evil people, but it's not as common as people think. It's more of a result of trauma and us trying to make our way in the world. If we've had our power taken from us as a child just from our father abusing us, you try to take it from others to get it back because it was taken. You know, shit, man, trauma shit fucks up a lot of shit. Really does, from the most subtle to the most extreme scenarios. So percentages to live, you know, there's times in life when, like, you find a lover, right? Someone you love, fall in love with, whatever that means, whether it's for a season, whether you guys get married, whatever it is. Those seasons of falling in love, it's not that you detach from reality, it's even more than that. Once you know who you are, you've dealt with your issues, you're on that journey of expansion and integrating and wholeness, and then you meet a lover and they're in the same place, like, beautiful. You know, the places that you can go. And that's one of the only things that doesn't get boring. Like when you see timelines, to me are calculations, probabilities. It just, the more I talk and interact with someone, the more I tune into them, the more, you know, it depends on the subject and whatever. And this happens naturally in the background for me, but if I'm intentionally looking for it, tuning into it, I see it in probabilities. And it goes from all these probabilities of timelines and results, and it's not, sometimes it's not super specific. Not yes or no's. They're just images of describing the scenery down that timeline based on decisions and actions and the recourses and the ripple effects that those will likely have based on a whole bunch of other variables and probabilities, until it narrows it down until you can see those fewer timelines and choose, just for your own life, choosing the ones that you want to choose in your heart, you know, for whatever your reasons are. And so things are like that, you know, I can see the probability of going skydiving and how it's going to affect my neurology and my joy and my exhilaration. And, like, you know, I've heard enough stories, I can picture, I can feel it. I've done it in other lifetimes, I can feel it, but I want it in this lifetime and I'll have it. It's cool, you know, it is. It's a beautiful thing, that whole dynamic. You know, but that, like, my bucket list things to do like that, that's probably 10-15% reason to live. You know, to get up in the morning. Yeah, I got bucket list of stuff to do still in life. Like, as a subtle subconscious joy for getting up in the morning. There's times like finding a lover, right? In those seasons, wherever you're together. I mean, it's just some beautiful summer together. You know, that happens. Those are beautiful. And if we all hold it with an open hand, we don't expect it to have to look a certain way and go a certain direction. And you can stay in the moment for as long as those things last. And ideally end beautifully, whatever that means. Move on, change roles, like, with each other or whatever, like, to find ways to end beautifully. Like, what a beautiful experience in this life. And because the only thing that's not predictable is another person, to some extent. But so there's always risk in that. But the depth of what you can find in another being, like, to me, that's the only reason to live anymore. For the human interaction. For the unpredictable way that love can interact with another, depth of understanding and exploration of another person, of their spirit, of their soul, of their psyche, of their little self, of their joys, the favorite candy, stupid shit, right? All of it, from the most spiritual to the most simple. It's all beautiful, really. And so really beautiful to be able to be in those seasons, to love and be loved in those ways, known and be known, to know and be known. You know, and then seasons change, and so something that was 100% passion before, you know, now is like, it's diminished down to 10%, you know, whatever, like, oh, maybe I'll have another experience like that in life, or with that person later in life or something. And so it's still a reason to get out of bed in the morning, but it's like, that'll happen, or when that'll happen, you know, so that the percentage of why that is enticing diminishes for a season. Ebbs and flows, like all these reasons to live, you know. I have a lighter that Nate, my friend and coworker, gave me, and it has a wolf on it. You know, it's so sweet because with the wolf, like wolf totem and that whole thing's been showing up for my life a lot this summer, and he thought of me and he got me the lighter. Like, it was really sweet. I was really thankful. And I told him I was hanging out with him today too, and I was talking about this concept. I said, you know, that lighter, that's like a 1% reason for me to live. If 0 is I want to kill myself, like 0 reason to live, 0%, right? I said, that's 1%. That's very thoughtful. That made me really happy. What a sweet gift, you know? That's significant. Does that mean if everything else in my life fell apart and I wanted to kill myself, that lighter would keep me from doing it? Ooh, I don't know. But it's something, it's 1%. Maybe that lighter saved my life, Nate, you know, because that sweet gesture. So it's very sweet. But it's always a combination. So that 1% is in addition to the 10, 15% looking forward to the future of having some deep interaction with a lover or just those dynamics, another human being. That's irreplaceable, that dynamic, you know? As advanced as the VR, you know, sex games and robots and all that stuff goes, like, it's just, you can't replace another human. The depth of connection. It's not just sexual, man. It's not just sexual. That's there too, but it's like, people just, they don't understand. CD on a wall, the way sex is seen. People have no idea. You know, what are other things? Friends, family, their percentages, what are they to you? Children, that's a beautiful one. I can only imagine. I haven't had kids, but I've, you know, had enough friends that are parents and the things they talk about and the love they have for children and, you know, different dynamics. Like, I can imagine that being, that's your own DNA. You know, the more you connect with that psychically and expand your understanding of science and neurology and human relationship and connection and oxytocin release and the child responding to the resonance in your voice, building that time and that, you know, all that stuff. Just in the womb, let alone just as a child, you know, baby. You understand the neurology from the womb through 2 years or older, so they're in delta brainwave state, just massively absorbing their environment emotionally, energetically, whether their needs are being met physically. Then till about 7 years old, they're in like a slight hypnotic trance state, theta brainwave states, massive absorption still. And so, what a beautiful reason to get out of bed in the morning for a long time, for many years, maybe until they're teenagers and they're kind of doing their own thing, and they're not just these sweet kids following you around everywhere. As frustrating as that is, I get all that, but I'm just saying, like, not that they follow you, but just frustrating and hard and stressful having kids. I'm not trying to diminish that, but the underlying love that you have for them, that you want to get out of bed for them, it matters. You know, and some people don't. Some people, there's still the depression. This is why it's different. I'm not talking about depression. That's different. That's physiological in the brain, in the body, not just the brain, but the body, to me. It's real, very real, but there's different reasons for that. What I'm talking about is, it's not depression. I'm not depressed. It's like an existential boredom. In a sense, existential, tired, soul sickness, wanting to not even go home. What's home? But wanting to be done with here. There's no fear of death. I have no fear at all of where I'm going when I die. Zero. Like, at all. But I also see the value in having a body, a heart, to feel things, you know? So, it's like, no, I've got a body. I've spent this many lifetimes getting here now to watch the systems of domination control crumble all around us, just like the Fight Club movie at the end where they knock the buildings down, blow them up. We're watching it crumble. All the pedophilia stuff and the governments and the politicians and Epstein and all the different pharmaceutical companies getting sued and losing billions and going bankrupt. I mean, granted, I saw a newspaper clip, something about Monsanto going bankrupt, but also in a merger with Bayer. So they're just going to be absorbed by Bayer, take Bayer's name so they don't have the negative stigma of Monsanto, but it's the same company. But, like, they're on their way out, man. I mean, it sucks. Like, there's rebranding. It's like, yeah, but people aren't stupid. Not anymore, not as much. A person is smart. Men in Black, right? A person is smart. People are something effective like dumb, ignorant, and angry, and emotional or something, you know? But people are waking up. And that's beautiful. So I get to be here for that. I get to watch my friends and family wake up to beautiful truths, harmony, wholeness with the world, really, with yourself first. To stop just identifying with a political party, you know, or a friend group, or a social class, or by your own skill sets. I am a carpenter. It's like, no, man. I taught myself how to do carpentry really well. Am I a carpenter? No. That was a beautiful phase of my life, and now when I want to build things, I can build things really well. You know, and I love doing it. And build beautiful things, understanding sanding techniques and staining and wet sanding and, you know, routing, just tons of different things. You can build really beautiful things, really efficiently and beautifully nowadays, you know, and inexpensively. Trying to remember where I left off. Don't remember where I was going with that, but reasons to live. Percentages. Oh yeah, to see people wake up. And that's another 10 to 15% to me. That's probably 15 to 20. That's a significant reason, you know? It ebbs and flows. You know, when you are dealing with emotional things in this physiological body, those reasons are less influential. What would normally be 15 to 20 is down to like 5 to 10 or less sometimes. You know, it just depends on how you're feeling. And that's why I'm talking about when I am. I'm not feeling depressed. I'm not feeling sad. Although kind of. Sad's decent. A grief, but not quite. It's like I've grieved this in many other lifetimes also. I came to this realization. You know, and I'm aware this may be a debate inside of me my whole life. We'll see. Find a way to win the debate. To stay here and have purpose. And not a mission. Like, I'm tired of that shit too. We're on a mission. Like, come on. So then what? When your mission's up, then what? You're just some bump on a log here? Like, what do you do in your personal life and your personal friendships while you're on your mission? You know? How are you finding and experiencing love and joy in this life while you're on your mission? To me, that is the mission, ultimately, when we're in joy and healing and wholeness for ourselves. And healing is a process, not an event. So says Andrew Bartzis, and he's right. When you can be in joy, find ways to be in childlike joy. Like what you emanate interdimensionally supersedes years of prayers sometimes. Ritualistic prayers of doing the right thing, of just trudging through the trenches, you know? Crawling through the trenches, whatever they call it. So it's like I get all that too, and I can do it. I choose to do it. I choose to enter into joy, and I choose to engage those things. But at the higher level, I'm bored. My soul's sick. I want to be done. I want to be done being joyful. And not like, again, this is different than psychology. This is different than my little egoic self. Being tired of trying so hard to be good. You're trying so hard to put on a smile for everybody else. It's not like that. I don't put on a smile for others. I choose to embody a true smile from my heart. Because I want to. It's not just because it's the right thing to do. I want to. I have no desire to be cruel to people. It just makes me feel bad. Not because I'm a bad person. But why would I treat someone poorly? It just doesn't resonate with me. You know? Doesn't mean you get walked on. There's always the balance of holding your boundaries. But in general, it's not like you have these existential crises, you're bored with life, and you understand higher truths, so now you become a sociopath? Dude. No, that mindset is so wrong. Movies have twisted that. That's true. Sure, it happens with some people. But the whole God thing is boring too. Controlling other people, it's boring. Why? Why would you want to do that? I get it. No, I mean, like, I get it. This is a rhetorical question. Because I know the reasons people do that. Consciously, intentionally. Dark magic, black magic, you know, that shit's like, I get why. But really, come on, guys. Get over the whole power thing. Get over control. Get over getting things in the way that you want them for a myriad of reasons. I'm really summarizing here because I get it on deeper levels and I know how nuanced it is. It's boring. You know, if you're going to be here, help other people, help the earth by helping yourself. Find joy, true joy, not joy in controlling other people. Find a better way to find true joy. That's more holistic, because when you find joy in ways that are, one, don't have to do anything any other people at all, but two, are in some form of reciprocating harmonic resonance with the thing that you're finding joy from, nature or people or whatever, it builds and amplifies your own joy to find joy in another. Just in friendship, just in the fucking person at the grocery store, the counter clerk, you know? Even in those moments, find those moments to relate, to laugh. In a sincere way. It makes life worth living, to have a human connection. When you can be childlike and you can fluidly interact with most people. It's nice, it's sweet, both ways. It's refreshing for them, and refreshing for me. It's another aspect too, that integrating our own soul shards. That's a concept in the spiritual community. That it's a very good one. I really like the metaphor. And I think there's truth in it. The way our psyche shards and fractals off. Excuse me. I think our soul and our spirit does the same in different ways. Or let's put it this way. Traditionally, I think people think their spirit does the same. Maybe not their soul, even though we call it soul shards. But really, I think we mean spirit sometimes, in my understanding of things. But that our higher soul or highest self at some level is whole. Whether that's our next higher self up that oversees all the incarnations on Earth, or a parallel fractal at that level that also sees all our Arcturian incarnations or our Palladian incarnations on those planets. And then higher up than that, though, all those integrate into a higher fractal that oversees all the 3D incarnations into any 3D body at all, or 3D construct. Elements, plants, minerals, anything within this universe, sine wave universe, this construct. But what I was realizing is the part of me that chose to come into this game, to come into this matrix, to ultimately the main purpose being to help Mother Earth, to help her, stand with her, her desire to change the times here for the better for her people. So we're just coming to help stand with her, be a pillar in her dreaming mind. It's beautiful, and just by existing here we do that. But the more we tune into it, because our soul resonance, being in a physical body, that alone adds to the strength of her own waves and frequencies. When we're in harmony, our soul's in harmony with her, even at an unconscious level, because her memories get wiped coming through the womb. But then you become consciously aware, and then you can engage her in your dreams, in your mind, in your meditations, in your heart, in your interactions, in your offerings to the land, in your prayers, and it becomes a sweet, conscious relationship between our little selves, feeling the soul love that we have for the earth, and also receiving it from her at a soul level, but also at a physiological, biochemical level into our little selves. It's beautiful. It really is. The technology of the skin suits, the technology of planets that create skin suits. And I say suits because it's so loving. It's beautiful. You put on a suit when you feel good. You're going to you can do it for funerals and stuff too. And we all die eventually, so is that, I guess. But getting dressed up, going to some kind of ball or like regalia thing, like whatever. But getting a suit on, a tux, or some beautiful custom suit that's just beautiful. So it's a skin suit. Like, beautiful. We get to wear her body. Wow. Cool. But it's for a season, because we're eternal. It's just for a season. What a cool suit to wear. And we're learning how to dust it off and turn on its epigenetic expression and realize there's all sorts of buttons in the suit that give you booster rockets and help you teleport and, all this stuff. So I'm glad I live here for that stuff, to be here for the awakening. That's cool. That's a big... when that stuff starts kicking in more and more, and it is already, but the epigenetic stuff getting turned on inside of the integration, that that percentage is going to increase of why to be here, to be a part of that, to watch it in other people, to help transition other people, to help transition yourself, into those realities. It's cool. So at a higher level, I was realizing the part of me that chose to come in here at all and knew it was going to have 10 million incarnations, let's say. Excuse me, just pick a number. Just to put a number on it. There's part of me up there, they saw the timelines, they understand soul trauma, they understand it conceptually, what was going to happen. Our traumas would carry over, that we'd ultimately be here now. We had to come in at the beginning of the time that it started to be here now. And even parts of myself at that level, before even a single human incarnation, were like, dude, we don't want to do this. This is a bad decision. It's part of my own consciousness. Like fractal, like they had to choose as a whole, just like we have to choose now what we put our time and our money into. Or if you're going to choose to become a part of, sign the dotted line, become the military, for example, 6 years, 8 years, whatever you sign up for, active or enlisted or whatever. Or reserve, but you're committing. You have to go in and you're stuck. You're going where they tell you to go. Different countries, different camps, or different bases. If a war starts, you're fucked. You're signed up. I know some people still in the patriotism thing. I don't want to get into that. So it's kind of the same thing. We saw that coming in here. There's going to be forced reincarnation. We're going to have to experience some shit that we don't want to experience, ideally, but it's for the mission. It's for the mission. And so parts of myself forced the other parts of themselves, itself, myself, to come in here. And so the first incarnation, parts of myself fractal off. Say, screw this. I told you I don't want to be here. This is awful. Don't want to be here, you know, and fractal off. And part of being here, I realize too, is that we are the anchor, even for our highest versions of ourselves. We're here to teach them to negotiate with each other and so they can integrate at the highest levels. Because we can give it words, and we're anchored here on the earth. And so the more we become aware of our deepest and highest level soul shards and fractures, you know, the more we can help heal ourselves at the highest levels and at the little levels, taking care of our bodies, learning to heal our emotional traumas to food so we can eat more healthily and help our own bodies out, you know? It's important too. Okay, I'm going to end it there. This has been a good update. It's been a while, I think, since I did a long form one. I've had a very busy summer. A lot of experiences. Building relationships with entheogens. You know, marijuana's legal in our state. That's been wonderful. Lady Cannabis. Building a relationship with her. Getting to know that she likes and doesn't like certain people. You know, she's built, anyone who's ever smoked her is connected to her morphogenic field, that memory, that experience of them. She gets to experience them while we experience her in our bodies. You know, same thing with psilocybin and any entheogen. I mean, anything really, supplements, all of it. Food, anything. But just think about the molecules too. The consciousness that they are. And so it's been beautiful, working through that, building through that, growing my awareness and my heart, my understanding and healing, pains and traumas that come up, you know, working through that, loving myself, and still working through different things, because we all are, at our little self level. Well, I do. I love the concept that you are the angel to your ego. You're the angel to your little self. I've had dreams looking back now. I've had many prayers where I've prayed for my past self, gone to meditations and gone and spoken to my past versions of myself, to love them, to help them process through the pains that they just went through or they're going to be going through. And the more I've done that, I realized I had dreams when I was a kid of angels coming and speaking beautiful things to me and waking up with hope and healing. And I'm like, oh shit, I realized it was me. I came back to myself in my dreams, you know? Cool. But also, there's a level of like, it is cool. I'm bored with it. You know, it's hard. It's hard when you get bored with the concepts that are so beautiful, but then you integrate other lifetimes where you've done that so many times before, which helps you integrate better in this lifetime for sure. You know? But then, there's a level of, and it's not boredom, it's so much like more than that. I want to get rid of all the negative snotty connotations of boredom. There's a level of, I mean, just imagine doing this just as in life. If you're a factory worker and your job is to like stamp the metal for decades. That's what you do. Oh my, I'd kill myself. I couldn't do it. Right? But I've had lifetimes literally doing that. And every lifetime in itself, as unique as it is, it eventually, over time, your highest soul is doing this. It's tired. It's tired of doing the human thing, you know? Just imagine someone staying there, been doing it 40 years, and they're dead in their eyes. They're soul sick. Their soul's almost not in their body. Because they've killed every level of creativity and all this shit. And I'm not saying it's like that. I feel as I've expressed every layer of creativity in other lifetimes. And the one here I'm not quite bored with yet is language. Because it's such bullshit, it's fun to play with. Important to play with. To change the articulation that's more nuanced and accurate to the energy and the heart and the love and the emotion and the words and the meaning and the message and whatever it is you're trying to convey in any moment. You know, it's a beautiful thing to find ways to go into flow and soliloquy, even to yourself, just in audio journals or things. Like, it's beautiful, you know, even if no one else hears it. It's beautiful for your left brain to put into words these experiences and these emotions. Like, what a joy that is to self, to loving self, little self. And for the higher self to see the little self get higher level concepts and feelings and energies and put it into words that make sense to him, to me, my little self. Okay, I'll call it good for now. And yeah, I don't know. If something resonates with you, tell me about it in the comments. Looking forward to building relationship with people that resonate with things I'm just processing. That's just where I'm at. It's like, yeah, there may be things I teach, so to speak, on my podcast or whatever, or different things or different dynamics, but like, it's just where I'm at, man. It's just my journey. It's my own thoughts. I'd love to connect with other people around the world that are having similar feelings or thoughts, or somebody said spark them in some way. I'd love to hear your own perspectives on it too. Like, cool. Really. Love to travel. Soon. I'm planning on traveling a lot more soon to get settled into my new life, but get anchored and settled into routine and stuff here, and then plan traveling, whatever that means. I'm not sure, but different people, different places. I want to experience sites of power around the world, just to go be with the earth, not even necessarily people, to go certain places just to be there and meditate, spend some time there, bring some crystals, prayers, offerings to the land, whatever. I really want to do that. And meet people along the way, really want to explore different festivals and things, and just the communities and the people and the beauty of creative free expression. So beautiful when people embody that in the ways that are profound. I don't know how to say it. It's profound and profoundly beautiful. So, Ho'oponopono, Selah, just pause and reflect upon these things. My favorite ways to end things like this. And we'll see you guys next time. Have a good night.